Next up, JG Consulting, thank you for taking your time to be with us and to provide us an RFP. And I guess we'll just start, and the floor is yours.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you virtually. I apologize that I could not be there in person this evening. We have another board meeting taking place tonight, and then I'm actually scheduled to go on another business trip first thing in the morning. So it's been quite a hectic week, and it's only Tuesday. So nonetheless, I want to say thank you for your service to public education. I appreciate the opportunity, and we're honored and humbled by the invitation to share a little bit about JG Consulting and our scope of work as it pertains to superintendent search services. So if I may ask if you indulge me for a moment, I'd like to share my screen and walk you through just a high-level overview of our services. Would that be okay?
Yes.
Okay, bear with me one moment, please.
At any time, if you feel like there's information that we need to go into executive session early, we will do that. Just let us know.
Yeah, no, I'm comfortable sharing everything. But if you feel compelled that we should go into executive session, just let me know and I'll defer to your lead.
Yeah, we will do that once we start, when we're ready to ask questions.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to go through briefly our superintendent search services and explain a little bit more about JG Consulting and our practice. So the two dedicated team members will be myself and Dr. Scribner. I mentioned that we have another board meeting tonight, so unfortunately he is committed, but the two of us will serve as boots on the ground and boots on the street. I do have full-time staff who have had some correspondence already with your team. Both Lisa Goodell and Jacob Wilson will represent the community, the school district remotely, providing a lot of back office support with your full-time staff and the faculty representing Garden City. But the two individuals who will represent the organization, the school district, the community, both internally and externally, will be me and Dr. Scribner. So we'll be your two primary points of contact with the support of the team. And I should underscore and highlight that there are 50 repurposed recovering superintendents, if you will, scattered across the country. So we do have a national presence. I am joining you this evening from Georgetown, Texas, which is a suburb just north of Austin. Dr. Scribner is based in Fort Worth, but we do have representation all over the U.S. Our mission is quite simple, as you can see on the screen, but there are three words that I'd like to underscore and highlight within our mission statement. The first is equitable, the second is inclusive, and the third is transparent. So our process will not only be equitable for you as a Board of Education, but also for the candidates who deem themselves worthy to apply for the position. Inclusive in terms of both the internal and external stakeholders, providing input as we solicit their feedback and their candid input as it pertains to developing the profile of the next superintendent. And transparent, much like I indicated when we first started our conversation, I like to operate from the open book standpoint to the degree that it's allowable by your state statute. Everything that we do will be public unless otherwise appropriate to discuss in closed session. So we operate with those three tenets in mind: equitable, inclusive, and transparent. Our impact can be measured in many ways, but ultimately the success of a superintendent search is the satisfaction of the board. But more importantly and equally important is the satisfaction of the students whom you serve. We understand that at the end of the day, we're aiming to educate all students, as your mission says on your district's website. Some of our recent successful searches include some of these logos that you see before you. We, in recent years, completed the Kansas City, Kansas superintendent search. The current superintendent, Dr. Stubblefield, is still in her role today. Kansas City Public Schools on the other side of the state borderline, where Dr. Collier is serving Washoe County School District in Nevada, Boston Public Schools, Des Moines Public Schools, and last but not least, coming soon, Garden City Public Schools. Some of the differentiating factors about JG Consulting in comparison to some of our counterparts and peers who I'm sure you're hearing from this evening, we were the first to incorporate an interview portal. It's an on-demand interview platform that as a board, you have an opportunity to review and vet candidate on-demand interviews. And you'll see a screenshot of what that looks like. We also own a career portal. Superintendentsearch.net is proprietary to us. You can see on superintendentsearch.net a number of job listings and postings from all over the country, not just the JG consulting searches, but other searches that are being managed and led by our colleagues and our peers in this space. We tend to utilize quite a bit of technology, which you probably gather from our presentation. We can survey your internal and external stakeholders as we begin soliciting input and feedback in as many languages as you want. I understand there are 35 languages spoken in Garden City across 1,000 square miles of excellence. We can survey as many of those subpopulations in as many languages as you'd like. We can host in-person meetings in both English and Spanish. We have the ability to speak fluently in Spanish and, of course, our primary language in English. If you need American Sign Language support, we have the resources to provide that as well. And then last but not least, our data portal. We own a software that vets and screens the academic performance of each candidate based on where they are applying from. And you'll get a glimpse of what that data portal looks like here in a moment. I referenced as my first point, the on-demand interview portal. So what you see before you is the on-demand interview portal. On the left-hand side of that image, there are 4 questions that this candidate was asked to respond to. The first being, what drew you to the position? In this case, Garden City Public Schools. They have a timed response, and you'll have an opportunity again, as I stated earlier, in the spirit of transparency and inclusivity and equitability for the candidates, an opportunity to review the candidates' responses. So not only will you have access to the full and complete artifacts of the application packet, the letters of interest, the resumes, the academic transcripts, the background reports, but you'll also have this to supplement and to complement the application materials. So this gives you an added value when screening and vetting candidates. This is a screenshot of our homepage for superintendentsearch.net. You can see the little blue dots across the US map. Those are different job listings in the various states. And again, we're aggregating and creating a heat map of all the different job searches. So if win, lose, or draw this evening, if you choose to partner with a different firm, the other firm can list your job for free on our website. So there's no cost to do so. This is a little bit of a dashboard screenshot of a survey. We conducted the A-Leaf Independent School District search in the greater Houston area during this time frame. You can see during 2022, we had over 1,000 responses in a relatively short period of time. Now, we can disaggregate the data and give you tremendous insight into what your stakeholders are saying. So a variety of stakeholders might include your students, your alumni, your teachers and staff, anybody who is concerned or interested in providing input regarding the superintendent search. And again, we can do a survey in as many different languages as you'd like. The data portal that I referenced is a new feature for us. We're very proud of this new software. What we are doing is taking, if you can envision like a baseball card, if you think about a baseball card, you have the front of the card has the player's logo. On the back, it's a truncated statistical overview of that player's performance in their baseball journey. We are taking a screenshot and providing you with an academic overview of how the candidates have performed and moved the needle in certain domains. And as you can see in the image here, one of those domains is grade 3 math test proficiency. So you're going to have access to this. It's a new feature. Other search firms can use it, but we are licensing it and subscribe it. We own it. It's patented by us. It was built by us. It's a software that aggregates all of the state data from across the country. So we're very proud of this. And as a school system, as a board, you will have an opportunity to benefit from using this software. And it's all inclusive in our total cost point. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of an overview of our success rate. On the left-hand side, some of the points you see beneath statistical overview. One thing I failed to mention earlier, we are a full-service search firm. We do not just conduct searches on behalf of a superintendent. We also conduct chief academic officer searches, general counsel, chief financial officers, athletic directors, anything that is an executive level, including a nonprofit in education, and city managers as well. We have conducted a variety and a diverse set of executive level searches across the country. So approximately 175 successful searches in 23 states, 58 of which have been superintendent searches. 68% of the superintendents remain in their current role today that we've placed. That fourth point down there towards the bottom where it says 75% of the leadership hired are people of color. We oftentimes, with our standard RFP responses, we're asked specifics related to that point. So we feel it's important, again, in the spirit of transparency, to let you know our track record. And it's an even split currently today. 50% of the superintendents hired by our school board partners are women, 50% hired by our partners are men. And then the graphic you see on the right is more of an overall trend based on the peer data available to us. So the peer data meaning the other search firms. One thing that I'm incredibly proud of is that our average tenure of a superintendent placement is currently 6 years. Beating in the national norm. For a district your size, it tends to be closer to 2.8 years, or excuse me, 3.1 years, and a larger urban school system is 2.8. So we're very proud, and I'm very proud of the team's success rate. Now, as far as recruitment, I mentioned that we are a national firm. We can cast as wide a net as you feel necessary. We work at the will of the board. So our charge and our direction will come from each of you. So if you were to say, James, we'd love for you to cast a wide net, that's what we'll do. I mentioned earlier that we're a diverse group instead of our core abilities. We can recruit both from the traditional public education sectors, which 99% of the time we do. Other times our board partners will tell us we like to open it to non-traditional. That can be philanthropic, that can be business leaders, post-secondary leaders at the collegiate level, or even other public sector types of individuals. Some of the state affiliates we work with include the American Association of School Administrators. We just completed the executive director search for the Association of Latino Administrators and Superintendents. That's a national organization representing all of their state affiliates. One of our colleagues is currently the superintendent in residence with the Council of Great City Schools. We work closely with the National School Board Association, and of course, all their state affiliates from across the country. This is a tentative timeline based on what we're able to glean from your RFP, but by no means is it set in stone. We tend to work backwards based on your desire to hire a superintendent. So if your wishes in this example were to hire a superintendent by February, we would engage in some sort of backwards planning to identify the major milestones. So first and foremost, it will start with engaging with each of you, understanding your hopes and aspirations for the school district, identifying appropriate attributes, characteristics, and traits for the superintendent. Then we'll develop a summary report based on community engagement and feedback, the surveying. We're going to spend a lot of time in person working in the community to solicit input and feedback. And then we'll present our findings and all of a synthesized report publicly. And then you'll bless as the board what we've presented. We'll present a draft profile. You'll give us your blessing to make edits and changes. And then the next day, we'll open the application to receive the artifacts that I mentioned earlier from candidates, and then invite them to complete the on-demand interview. And then we'll identify an interview timeline. What that looks like in person, it typically will consist of 2 consecutive days in round 1. Round 2 could also be 2 consecutive days if you're 2 finalists or 3 finalists. But without putting the cart before the horse, that's kind of a general expectation of how we tend to operate. Again, just want to acknowledge and thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit more about us tonight. Again, we use a lot of technology to promote and socialize the opportunity. On the left-hand side of the screen, I wanted to say thank you for the opportunity, and that's my personal LinkedIn profile. The opportunity has already been socialized. I can tell you there's been interest garnered just based on my simple acknowledgement on LinkedIn to say thank you to the board for inviting us to share a little bit more this evening. So just want you to know, a testament to your hard work and the district's hard work for helping us socialize in such a quick way. We do have testimonials and videos that you're welcome to watch at your leisure. jgconsulting.us is our website. Tremendous resources and assets there for your reference. I'm happy to play a video right now if you'd like to see this quick vignette. Otherwise, if you'd like to just move on, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, we'll move on, James. We'll take a moment to go into executive session. So give us a minute to do a vote.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We want to watch the video.
Okay.
I got mixed signals.
All right, no problem. Give me one moment and I'll play that. Thank you.
I took that.
I thought this was like
residency right now.
Yeah.
I really have again been a lifesaver with my application.
The process with JG Consulting was both warm and friendly and professional. So I think sometimes people hear warm and friendly and may think it's an either or. Oh, well then was it not professional? No, quite the contrary. I think it is, again, one of those opportunities that I had working with JG Consulting to have a very transparent, very honest, and also very warm. That really is the word that resonates for me the most. I never felt this pressure of that I was actually competing with anyone for this position. JG Consulting provided it as an opportunity to compete with yourself. So I'm Stephanie Suzanne Elizalde, and I am currently very honored and humbled to serve as the superintendent of the Austin Independent School District. I am actually a biologist by training, so I was studying and intended to go to medical school, and took some time off, and during that time off decided to teach a high school science course for 1 year. And once I got into the classroom, I realized that that was truly my niche. My journey was one where, again, as a classroom teacher, I then saw and observed a leadership opportunity as an assistant principal. So I decided I would pursue a master's degree and training so that I could serve in that role. From there, I saw and sought out to be then a principal. And so it was a progressive kind of experience. And when I reached Dallas ISD, it's probably the first time I really seriously thought, can I be a superintendent? Is that something I could do? And then you have to ask yourself, is that something you really want to do? And I had an opportunity to really understand that before I chose to seek out being a superintendent, so that the end result was not about winning or losing the job. It was about enjoying the journey along the way. And I don't know that I have ever really felt like that, as I have done other searches with other firms. And this was a very different process from that end. So sometimes a process can be similar technically and yet be so very different in the way in which it's executed. And that's how I would define the difference between my experiences with prior searches and compared to this search.
All right. Well, thank you for indulging me. And I will tell you that she has, in the past year, taken a promotion and has returned to the Dallas Independent School District, which is our second largest school district in the state of Texas. So prior to her being hired by the Austin ISD Board of Trustees, she was the deputy superintendent in Dallas. And then when my colleague retired and is now a recovering repurposed superintendent, she felt compelled and was recruited to return to Dallas. So that's Dr. Elizalde, and this is just a testimonial. So this isn't the actual video interview that I showed earlier, but rather just a testimonial that she provided.
Perfect, thank you. Now we'll take a moment and to enter executive session.
Okay, wonderful.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education go into executive session for 30 minutes for the purpose of discussing confidential data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trusts, and individual proprietorships to protect the privacy and rights of corporation partnerships, et cetera, with regard to their financial affairs. Beginning at 6:19, and the open meeting will resume here in the boardroom at 6:49. I'd like to invite Josh Kyman, Drew Tone, Jessica Northern, and the representatives from J&G Consulting and to join us in executive session.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we move into executive session. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your left hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Give us 1 second.
Yeah, we're gonna stay.
Yeah, we're gonna stay.
Stay here.